I won't use microphone because if I put the microphone, I feel like Elvis Presley. I start singing, "Are you lonesome tonight?" I won't do it that. I am Peruvian, and the stories I'm going to tell are not in the book. New things.
Yeah.
And when I see Peru, I see the colors, the ceramics, and things like that, and the sweetness of the smile. I'm always smiling. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember first time I was in Jutland. The black, the Sorte Firkant. I never find out why they call it the Sorte Firkant. But it was December, Christmas time. I was walking in the street. It was 1965, Christmas. Many of you were not born at that time. And it's coming a family, a boy and a girl and a lady. And I could see from the wearing clothes that they were coming out of the country, and they stop, and the boy is telling something to the mother. I couldn't understand what the mother was telling to me. Even if I could Danish, she was not talking Danish, she was talking Jysk. Then I asked a guy, a gentleman was coming, I said, "Can you translate what she says?" And then listen to her and say, "Forget it, go away, ignore them. They are not so clever. Please translate what she said." And she was asking if the boy, his boy 11 years old, he could touch my arm. Okay, no problem, sir. He can touch my arm. And then the boy made like this. And looked at his finger and says to the mother that, and they go away. And the guy, Dennis, was very embarrassed about the situation. How people can behave like that. And I said, and I started laughing, and says, I love this boy. He's curious, he has a creativity, and he has a hypothesis that my color is not authentic, and how to prove that to make the test. And he was wrong, and he just left. This is the beginning of the scientific method.
Exactly.
Okay, next is here, I think. Where is my assistant? Yeah, Peru, 35 million people, 205 kilometers, and is much bigger than Denmark and more inhabitants than Denmark. And let us see at the map, because they are towns, areas that is very important. Chachapoyas. There was a culture before the Inca, but people ask, you are from Peru, you are Inca. No, sir. I have no Inca roots at all. My father is coming from Chachapoyas culture, and my mother is coming from Moche culture. And they meet in Lima, and there I was born. So, and then you have other cultures, Paracas, Nacas, and Cusco belongs to the Inca culture. Remember those names because I will come back to this. When I say Chachapoyas, why it is important? Because my name is Victor Valqui Vidal. Valqui is the name of my father. And originally this name is coming from Chachapoyas. And all those in the whole world who are called Valqui are in the same family. I have a big family in Europe. My cousin in Kiel is organizing every year a party, and he invites all the Valquis in Europe. And me and daughters, and we are going there, and they're fantastic. 30 people, sometimes there are more. We are soon going again. When is that?
In June.
In June we're going. And this is my mother comes from Moche culture, but I will come back on that. Next one. I am a cultural sociologist, and I will use now my Peruvian gaze to use art historians' terminology as as there are many artists here. And then I will look as Peruvian, and the first time I was for a Christmas party and was served piscines. And this is a potato, a white potato. I never seen a potato so white like this. And incredibly, it has no taste. I was disappointed. And to put some taste, they put this brown sauce that I cannot eat because I got sick. It's too fat for me. But potatoes is coming from the Inca culture. It's the present to humanity from the Indians in Peru. Is that true, Fabia? She's from Peru. She's experimenting. But potatoes in Peru, you have around 4,000 different types, different colors, different tastes. And this is a market in Cusco area. You can see all the potatoes there. And you see here. I think Martin and Boder, you have been in Peru. Have you tasted this kind of potatoes?
No, because they're very difficult to buy because I didn't know what to make with them, and then they didn't sell it to me.
But the potatoes, this variability, and this is what I love from Peru, this variability. In Europe, you want to standardize everything. But in Peru, you have this variability. And of course, when I was in the market with my mother, then we were thinking, what should we eat? And she knew especially which kind of potato to choose for the fish and this potato for the soup. And we have some babies, we have the yellow potato, just a very soft one. You're also from Peru, huh? You agree with me? But potato is such important that, of course, scientists, you have the International Potato Center. All what I'm telling is true. Huh? I am not joking. I am a very serious person. I am a scientist. And this is located, of course, in Peru, in San Isidro area. They have this building. Remember this drawing here. I will come back later. And there, make scientific research. Every year, they make a conference. People all of the world will come. New potatoes, they will test it. Sometimes they get sick, they will be treated and all these things. And new, because they reproduce, and new ones, they will be registered, and all these things scientists can do with that. Okay, this is about potatoes. So go to Peru to taste real potatoes. But now, you have regular vegetarians, you're vegetarian, brother. You know this quinoa.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is also a present for the Inca culture. Their gods, close to Cusco, there is a big valley that goes the Sacred Valley, and there was that agriculture university. They got the potato. The potato originally is poisonous, coming from Amazonas. There, they transformed it, and they became this. And they experimented also with this quinoa. Very rich, very healthy. Not right, Boder, you are a vegetarian. And you can get it in different colors. And this is also from the Inca culture. Thank you, Incas. So forget about rice, spaghetti, go to quinoa. And you can get it in 3 different colors. With my Peruvian eyes, I come to Denmark and I see the guinea pig. We call it kuy. And this little sweet guy, and in Danish they call masvin. You know, Danish is a very strange language. Why do they call masvin? Because it's not a pig. And what Mars is something with water. The ships will come with these little pigs and then they put in it. This one, the hippopotamus, they call flodhist. Flow the river, okay, the guy is in river, but what has to with the horse? But anyway, this, and when I saw this, oh my goodness, we are going to have kuy tonight. And I was disappointed because it was a pet. My oldest daughter has one, and she was always afraid when I was, see, I tell you, it is ready. But for us, Peruvian, this is cuy. Huh? Cuy grillado. How many has tasted cuy? 1, 2, 3, 4. You saw it.
I saw it grilled.
This is, it tastes fantastic. This is also the contribution of the Inca culture, because they were usually vegetarian, but they have to have some protein, some meat. And they experiment it in the Andean area. It's a wild animal, so they brought it home, they tame it, and the advantage of this is they reproduce it extremely fast. So you have meat all the time. Recently, I think 4 years ago, a group of Japanese researchers had been in an area, in the Andean area, because they were surprised that in this area it was no cancer. And they make a lot of tests and things like that, and they find out the reason is because these people was eating cuy. And cuy makes your immune system stronger than anything. The result of that is that now you can go to the Tokyo restaurant and order cuy, and they will serve for you. Peru and Bolivia are exporting cuy to the Japanese. Huh? Japanese, very clever people. We go to the next one. We talk to Peru, we talk about wool. This is the more fantastic wool. This is made of llama wool, both in Cusco, and touch it, very soft. Huh? Yeah. And when you talk about cotton, you have Pima cotton, the best cotton in the world. If you go to New York, to the fancy shop, and you find a T-shirt with some figures there, some artist has contributed, and then you look at that and pay 5,000 kroner for this T-shirt, you open there and it says Pima Product Peru. When you buy one of these, you can wash it 100 years and it's still there. Fix it. Okay. What is the next?
Okay.
My Peruvian case. Always looking for a beautiful woman. I'm sorry. And it's not because I love to see these fancy journals, but my youngest daughter is fashion scientist, and she's bringing all these fashion things, and then I look at this picture, and I look at this girl, and she's a model, one of the most famous models from Denmark. She's tall, and I see the father is Danish, but I see her face. There is some Peruvian here. I can see it immediately. And then I am also a researcher. I'm trying to investigate, and they find out that this is the mother. And she's Peruvian. Only I know her family. And she got two daughters. This is Helena and the other Anita. And she became a model. She has been in all the magazines and Milano and Paris and New York, showing clothes and things like that. Very elegant lady. And so she is half Peruvian.
Okay.
To be half Peruvian is, my daughters are half Peruvian. Don't offend them. And my granddaughters are 1/4 Peruvian. And this is also important, this. And this, you will see it next. Peru, like Denmark, they are fascinated with football. Football is a passion. And we have the same colors, no? Red and white. Red and white in Denmark, Danish dynamite. In Peru, we say red and white, Peruvian dynamite. But look at this picture. So, several these guys, they look like me. There's a mixture of things like that. This is more African-like. And this is a combination of everything. But look at that guy there. Tall, blonde, blue eyes. And you can ask, what is he doing there? Probably it's a guy who is collecting the balls or something like that. No. He's Oliver's son.
Facilitable.
He plays with Silkeborg. Now he's in England.
Yes.
Yeah. And there are people in Peru who are spotting Peruvians around the world who play football. And they find out that this guy is Peruvian. How it comes. The mother, the two daughters, he's the daughter of Anita.
He's the son of Anita.
Huh?
The son.
He's the son of Anita. I'm sorry. He's a little feminine for me, but anyway. And according to Peruvian law, when the mother is Peruvian, the daughters are Peruvian, and the grandchildren are also Peruvian. So, what is your passport, Julio?
Danish.
Danish. And this is why
He's playing for.
they spotted and they asked him, do you want to play for the Peruvian national team?
Yeah.
And he said yes. And he was interviewed because why? He's very young. He could have the possibility to play for the Danish. No, because I want to be kind with my grandmother. My grandmother is always talking about Peru. She's always making Peruvian food, and we have to visit the family and things. And when I told grandmother I'm going to come, she started crying. It was the more fantastic present of it. And this is what is Peruvian in this sense. The family is very important in this case. For instance, I am staying here, and I have to stay very solid, so I have my socks. And you can see socks. You have some pictures. They are my two granddaughters. I know I have to have them. One of them is there, and they support me all the time. Is that true? Yes. Well, this is, and it was a sensation in Peru. Tall, blonde, blue eyes. Oh, we other guys who are mixed, forget it. He was called the Ken of the Andes. Ken is the boyfriend of Barbie. The Andean Valqui was called, and he had many names. But there was a guy, this is Peruvian creativity, who was producing underwear. And they did not sell very well. Because the business was down, and he was this brilliant idea to sell the underwear with a picture of Oliver. You can see there. And he sold out. I wrote to my friends in Peru, I said, can you get some of these? I will get as present to my wife. But impossible to say you can get it in the black market, but it's too expensive. So, and he made something, this is Peruvian creativity. In Spanish, underwear you say calzón. He called it calzone. It sounds like Italian, no? Calzone. And you know, in the television, they make some competitions about who will win this. And they make an interview in the Peruvian television. Him and says, you should get some money for that, because this guy is getting extremely rich with the pictures. And he just laughed and said, he thought it was very funny, he took these things. Have you bought some underwear for your girlfriend in Denmark? No, she won't go. I don't dare to bring one of these. Okay, this is Oliver. Paul Gauguin. Are you still in Glyptotek, Ula?
We have Gauguin.
You have a big collection of Gauguin. Yeah. And Gauguin, he make the same movement that I made, I married a Danish woman. And he also did, but it did not work very well. Gauguin came to Denmark with a lot of his productions, and he makes sculptures and reliefs and everything. And they just used the Jante law. You should not think you are better than us. And they ignoring him. He has a big exhibition in Den Fri, the Østerport. Nobody was coming. The newspaper were not mentioning here. He was completely disappointed. Anyway, he left all his work for the family. He has 3 children, and they could sell this and get some money. But when I was seeing this exhibition, I was studying, and I looked this ceramic. They are from moche culture. This is my Peruvian eyes. This is. He had these ceramics to make this painting. I go further, and he has this, and look at this figure, and look at this figure here, and this is Juanita. This is a mummy. If you go to Paris, Musée de l'Homme, you will find out this mummy there, Juanita. This inspired for him to make his drawings. And Edward Munch had seen this figure, and inspired to make a cricket, the well-known paintings. You go to Oslo, they have a Munch museum, they have a whole room with this screen. Yes, is it true? Yeah, I had checking with our historian here. And what is interesting is Juanita is a mumia from Chachapoyas. So her name should be Juanita Valqui, because he belongs to this family. And this is, and of course I am also a researcher, and I'm wondering how it happens that he has all these Peruvian symbols in the paintings, and it's because the mother was 1/4 Peruvian, and they have a family in Lima, big family, very rich, and she, at some point there was crisis in Paris, and she went to Peru with Gauguin as a baby and a little sister, and they had been living there. And that means the first 7 years of his life, he has seen the Peru culture. His mother was collecting ceramics from Moche and Paracas in the south of Chile. He has a big collection. And this is things that he used to play with. So, and if you don't believe me, I have to have the documentation for that. You can find Paul Gauguin, his bibliography. Read it better in French. The Danish translation is not very good, but he mentions also his time when he was in Lima, and description of the impressions he got. And also in these aristocratic societies, the children had more contacts with the people around him, and not with the mother and father, because they are very busy going out. So he describes the different persons, and he was fascinated by a Chinese guy who was ironing the clothes. And read the book and you will see I am right. We go to the next. What is that? The half Peruvian, Flora Tristan, the mother of Gauguin. Flora Tristan, the first feminist in France. She is working practically. She was going from factory to factory, telling the workers the necessity of organizing. That was forbidden. So she has to escape when the police was coming. And this is her work. At the same time, actually, she's doing this practical work at the same time. Karl Marx is sitting on writing Kapitalen with more theoretical part. She's doing the practical. And
Oh!
half Peruvian, quarter Peruvian.
Brilliant time.
So Flora Tristan she is well known for a fantastic book. This is in Danish. Imperius Lange Reise, Imperius Long Trip. The translation is not very good. Better read it in French. You can read French. You do it in French. And this, she explains her traveling from France, single lady in a ship to Lima. Mm-hmm. At that time, you have no Panama Channel, so you have to go ever south and come there. This is a very fascinating. If you are a feminist or you want to become a feminist, body, read that. Okay, we'll go further. That was Flora Tristan. I will take you to the little trip in Copenhagen. As you are in the first picture are going with your bike, you can see the old library, Royal Library, and in the front they have the diamond. Okay? You go inside there, and the first thing you meet is a coffee shop. You can get some coffee and some cakes. And you are laughing all the time. And after the coffee shop, you will get up to the first floor, and you will see treasures. Oh, the treasures of the library. You go inside, a very dark room. I think the first time I was there, it was with Maria. She was a little one, and I was going there, and she saw we are going to steal something. No, Maria said, we don't steal. And if you continue, you find in one box this book, Felipe Guamán Ayala, Nueva Crónica y Buen Gobierno. This is a Peruvian book. And you can ask, why is this is a fantastic book, 1,800 pages, half of them are drawings and written in black ink at that time, the style at that time, and the drawings in circular. This is a treasure of humanity. Why is there? And around that, there has been a lot of investigation, research about these things where Danish people contacted some Germans, some French, some Americans, and they make a lot of research. Nobody wondered to ask to the Peruvian University, San Marcos, the first university, and the Catholic University, if they knew something about this book. And they knew everything. They have a research project where you can even visit the town where he was born and say hello to him. He was a stone, but in Peruvian tradition, a stone has life. So he's there. You want to say to, yes, hello, long time no seeing you. You look like a stone. Anyway, the book is there. You can go and see it. I am preparing a performance about how it's there. Now I have to stop. And all this, the problem they have is that the language, part is written in Spanish, but it is Spanish that is talking Spanish from the local, so this is not a correct grammar and things like that. But part is in different type of Quechua and Aymara, and the guy, Guamán, he could manage all these languages. He was working as a translator for the priests or the lawyers in different cases. He was translating all this. And the book is very important from a colonial point of view because he is writing the book to the king of Spain, telling him that that the Peruvian culture, and he describes this, is getting spoiled for the Spanish culture. How can you explain, dear king, that the priest that is supposed to be married has so many children? How is possible some people are stealing things from the Indians where one of the comments, you should not steal. And he's just documenting and arguing, telling to the king that it's a good idea you separate the two cultures, because the Spanish anyway, they live in the coast, the capital, and the Indian people, and then you make that they should not even talk together. This is the message. And actually, this colonialism has a lot of actuality. It was actually in South Africa, it was actually in Algeria, what you do with people that are mixed with different cultures, how you continue with. Okay, and there has been, United Nations has made a document where all nations should be returning things that have been brought illegally. United States has signed it, Sweden has signed it. There are two countries who have not signed it. United Kingdom, of course, if they sign it, everything will disappear, and Denmark has not signed this. So this is very interesting. Now, I finish and say thank you in Quechua and say goodbye also in Quechua. No extra, no more.
Obviously, I was expecting that. I know Victor, and Victor always makes such a good presentations. And he's really a facilitator, the person with the extraordinary capacity of communication. He's a very, very good friend of mine. You know, he has been my advisor in a PhD and a doctorate some years ago here. I met him. I was here in Denmark for 3-4 years. Fantastic time. But it happened something very special. We became really, really good friends. He's a very good friend of mine. The family also. He has been many times with me in Portugal. In fact, months he has been living there.
We have been in China and
yes.
Japan.
Then we traveled Peru, obviously. I've been in Peru, so what he's saying is really true. We've been in Japan, China, many times in Portugal, you know, all over the world. He's a fantastic person. As you know, he plays a lot of instruments. I met him in optimization, decision making, but after in creativity, visual poems and so on. So it's fantastic. It's not just playing a lot of instruments. It's a kind of orchestra. Okay, no other things. I'm sorry for 5-2 Portugal, Denmark.